Hi everyone, and welcome to a second visit to my archive. Here's a film from way back in 2011 when we visited the Farne Islands. It's only ever appeared on YouTube as a very short version set to music. So here's the digitally remastered version in its entirety. Hope you like it. Sea houses on the Northumberland coast. It's about 30 miles north of Newcastle. It's a nice little place, and we're going to be based here for a couple of days because come tomorrow morning we're off on a bird safari to the Farne Islands. That's one of the islands there, Inner Farne, that you can see there, and off in the distance Longstone Lighthouse. And this is going to be our home for a couple of days, the Bamber Castle Inn. Well, there's quite a few birds to be seen on the quayside, like these young starlings. We've got a selection of gulls, mainly herring gulls, a few common gulls, black-headed gulls as well, quite a few of those. And looking way out, we've got some distant gannet, probably flown down from the Bass Rock about 40 miles away. On the beach there, we've got an oyster catcher. And also looking way out there on the sandbank there, we've got some male eider duck. Quite a large group of them there. And also right down on the water's edge there we've got some female eyed up with young ones. Young ones are being eyed up hungrily by these herring gulls, but they should be alright because the gulls around here get plenty of food from us humans. See what I mean? It's been a beautiful day today. I hope it's like this tomorrow. Well, what a difference a day makes. This morning it's cloudy, windy and grey, and it's at least 10 degrees cooler. There's Inner Farne, that's one of the islands we should be landing on today. That should be okay, but Staple Island's a bit iffy. You can see there's quite a swell. Just down at the quayside now, waiting for our boat, the Glad Tidings. Here we are at the beginning of our island tour. The boat's going to take us around the main islands and also some of the smaller ones as well. You see the cliffs are actually teeming with birds, mainly guillemot, razorbills, some shags and some kittiwake. The smell's quite strong. It's not too bad though because it's quite breezy, but if you've ever smelt pigs at a cattle market, then it's very similar to that. I'd imagine on a hot day it could be quite overpowering. There's some guillemot. Great because the boat takes you right to the base of these cliffs. We've got some kittiwake up here, which is a species of gull, one of the smaller gulls. literally thousands and thousands of seabirds there. Actually, it's a fantastic experience. It's a pity it couldn't have been a day like yesterday. That's Staple Island, one of the islands where we should be landing, but there's a bit of a doubt because of the swell. There's some people on the island already being mobbed by Arctic terns. I've got a feeling we've got that to come once we get to Inner Farne. There's our first view of puffins up on the ridge there. Well, this is the landing stage on Staple Island. The boatman says the swell's a little bit too much for us to land safely, so we're going to go on to Longstone Island to see the lighthouse and stretch our legs a little bit until Inner Farne opens. We've been around quite a few of the little islands and the larger ones, and we've seen quite a few grey seals. There's a huge colony throughout the islands, and around about 70% of the world's population resides here in the UK. These are the darker bulls. They're much more thick set, as you can see, really powerful creatures. You get really fantastic close views of them, best views I've ever got. This is a female, lighter in weight and lighter in colour. Well, we're going to say goodbye to the seals now, and we're off to Longstone to see the lighthouse and stretch our legs until Inner Farne opens at 1:30. Well, this is the Longstone Lighthouse, where Grace Darling, of course, rowed out in that ferocious storm, along with her father, to rescue some shipwreck survivors. Not a lot of wildlife on the island, some grey seals, but also right down at her feet there, really well camouflaged, there's a female eider duck sitting on eggs, just not bothering about us at all. There's a male further out to sea. A few oyster catcher about. Right, here we go, we're back on the boat, and we're going to make our way to Inner Farne. Well, on the way the boatman slowed down so we could have a look at these grey seals in the water. Mainly grey seals. I think there's the odd common seal like that one, or harbour seal. Right, here we are at Inner Farne, just waiting to get off the boat. On the shoreline there you can see a lot of Arctic terns. Once we get on the island we should see close-ups of all the birds that we've seen so far today, like puffins and razorbills, guillemot, and of course puffins. But when you get onto the island, the first thing you really come across are these Arctic terns. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. You know, you can get right close to them, but they are very protective of their eggs. There's a tern egg. They lay usually between 1 and 3. There's one with a sand eel in its beak. But you really have to wear headgear, and I mean that because, as you'll see, they're very, very protective of their nests. There's a bird that normally you wouldn't think would come anywhere near you, but during the breeding season they're a force to be reckoned with, as you can see. Well, I can say that if they catch you right, it really does hurt. As I say, these are mainly Arctic terns. There's a few common terns mixed in. You see they're very similar, but Arctic terns have red beaks. Also, looking out, another kind of tern. These are sandwich terns. A much bigger, bulkier bird with the crest at the back there that you can see. But they tend to keep more of a distance, thankfully. Right, here's another eider duck sitting on a nest right next to the boardwalk, and there's another one a little bit more camouflaged in among the foliage there. These are the females sitting on the nest. Also looking out, there's males, a really striking, beautiful bird, that pied plumage and the green at the back of the head. This is the breeding plumage. Also, we've got lots of guillemot down here. There's chocolate brown birds. Cliff dwellers, of course. And also lots of kittiwake. I mean, here you can get really close to the edge of the cliffs and get tremendous views of these kittiwake. One of the smallest members of the gull family. That lovely chick there. Lovely views of that. Also in the nest there's another egg. Whether that hasn't hatched or whether it's still being incubated, I don't know. The kittiwakes will pair up for life. Fantastic view. I mean, it's a really, really magical place. And also, here we are, the famous puffins, or sea parrot, as they're sometimes known. Tell by that beak. And all over the island, they've got their burrows here. And this one's obviously sitting on a chick. They usually only have one chick. You can see why it's called a sea parrot though, with the shape of the beak. And there's the classic view of a puffin with a beak full of sand eels. They only have this brightly coloured beak during the breeding season. I mean, most of the time it's greying, and they spend the rest of the year way out at sea. They never come inland. Real sea-going bird. There's another bird you find on the island, razorbill. Quite similar to guillemot, but obviously different shape bill. See why it's called a razorbill. Basically similar to the shape of a razor. Cliff nesters, like most of the other birds here. One of the other birds that's numerous on the island is this bird, is shag, and they're all nesting here at the moment. Most of them got chicks in various stages of development. See the furrier ones there, and this one's being fed. It's got its head right inside its parent's crop because they catch fish, and one of them will come back to the nest and feed the one that's actually on the nest, and then they'll regurgitate the fish, so the chicks can feed off that. But if you look really closely like that, you can see why there's a theory that dinosaurs didn't die out, but they evolved into birds. And looking at shags, you can really see that where that theory comes from. Shags are very similar to cormorant, but they're a little bit smaller and much more impressive looking, I think. That beautiful green iridescent sheen to the wings and plumage. They really are true sea-going birds. You never find them inland like you do cormorant. Well, that's it. Absolutely fantastic experience. If you're a bird watcher, you got to come here at least once in your life. But bring a hat.